Right, I think we'll begin. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this morning and stealing you away from your coffees and teas. I'm delighted to present the Ghana JET programme, JET standing for Jobs for Economic Transformation, not planes. I'm Veronica Bolton Smith. I'm the team leader, and the consortium consists of Palladium, BCG, and a few others on the ground in Ghana. Our main stakeholder is the Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Office, and we'll be guiding you through some of the principles of the Ghana JET programme. But I just wanted to introduce ourselves and what we're doing. My colleague here as well will introduce himself too.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Baptiste Garayal, the technical manager on the Ghana JET programme.
We've also got Robin George in the audience who will introduce himself shortly and will be doing a presentation. Robin is from Boston Consulting Group and is part of the consortium. We'll hear today from the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. We'll also have presentations from Palladium, from BCG, and also GIPC, and that's the Ghana Investment Promotion Centre. So today you'll hear about some of the investment opportunities in Ghana and also what the Ghana JET programme is trying to deliver and the partners that we are seeking, the investors that we are looking for this exciting project over the next 5 years. So I'll hand over to my colleague Baptiste to run you through the Ghana JET programme, and then I believe the Minister is on his way. When he does arrive, I'll come back and introduce him and he'll give his keynote address. Thank you.
Yes, so good morning, everyone. Like I said, I'm Baptiste Garayal. I work for Palladium and I'm the technical manager on the Ghana JET programme. Thank you for being here today, in person or online. So today, so the agenda for today will be to give a brief introduction to investing in Ghana and how the how the Ghana JET programme falls into this. Then look at the sector strategies we've developed and look also at the intervention areas for the project. If there is time at the end, we will do a short Q&A, but I think that might be at a later stage. No. So, introducing Ghana. Sorry, I'm new with this. So just as some of you may know, since 2010, for most of the past decade, the government of Ghana has developed a very ambitious industrial policy looking at diversifying the economy and pushing for the industrialization of the country. It has published or passed several policies and regulatory frameworks that try to help the country in its development path. Some of these policies include a industrial policy passed in 2010, the GIPC Act of 2013 to boost FDIs, a push also for industrialization through some export processing zones, and a push also for industrialization across the country with the One District, One Factory initiative of 2017. This is some of the many different policies that the government has passed. Okay, so sorry, there's some charts are not appearing, but basically over the past 10 years, Ghana has seen a sustainable growth and a large increase in FDIs. These FDIs, however, show some volatility and are often linked to specific sectors like oil and gas, for example. As well, the government policies have seen some success, but some of them have also fallen short of obtaining their objectives. And all of this means that today the level of investment required by the government of Ghana to implement its agenda for industrialization is not at a high level and sustained enough to be accomplished. So that's where the JET program comes in. Our aim is to support the government in the industrialization and economic diversification of the country to address structural economic challenges. Our objective over the next 5 years is to create 15,000 quality jobs and to stimulate over 50 million pounds in private investment. So to do this, to achieve this ambitious target, we've defined 4 interconnected components to drive industrialization. The first one, and the most important one, is the accelerating anchor investments. Here, the idea is to build a pipeline of potential investors and work with them to identify some of the bottlenecks that hinder their investments in Ghana. This is a concept that has been used by BCG in other countries with success, and that BCG will hopefully present a bit later and implement in the country. The idea is to really stimulate more and bigger anchor investments into Ghana. The second component, which is equally as important, especially for a sustainable and inclusive growth and industrialization in Ghana, is to build the capability of the domestic firms. This will be a win-win scenario where anchor investors, multinationals, come to Ghana and have access to a well-developed supply chain that will allow them to provide cheap and quality components, and for the local private sector to have access to large clients and new export markets. The third component is supporting industrial policy development. This means working closely with the government of Ghana to identify bottlenecks, to identify issues that block anchor investments in the country. And the fourth one is to build a more enabling environment for stakeholders. So this is more around the ecosystem, with the idea that we can work at increasing cooperation between programs, between institutions, to address some of the key issues that block investment in Ghana, such as access to electricity, access to skills, access to finance, and so on. So now, looking at the sectors that we've identified, because we can't go through the entire economy of Ghana, we had to identify 3 priority sectors that we see as the ones with the most potential. Why did we take a sector-first approach? This is because we believe that investments primarily take place within rather than across sectors, and that each sector has a unique investment landscape. So to define these sectors, to choose these sectors, we developed a list of criteria that were then divided into 2 axes. One is the right to win, so basically, what is the advantage for a company to come in the country and in that sector? And the second one is the potential for impact. So impact is economic, social, and environmental impact. So you don't see, the problem is that you don't see some of the graphs, unfortunately. I'm sorry. And so having this list of criteria in consideration, we worked very closely with the government of Ghana, with the British government, with private sector actors and associations in Ghana, with our partners like BCG, to select 3 sectors that we saw as having the most potential for development and for impact in Ghana. The first one being automotive. The second is garments and textiles that we see as one sector. And the third is pharmaceuticals. If we look at automotive, so the automotive sector in Ghana benefits from a really strong dynamism at the moment, thanks to the policies put in place by the government of Ghana. The government is really one of the most proactive governments in Sub-Saharan Africa to attract key investors in the automotive sector, with the aim to make Ghana a manufacturing hub in automotive. This includes enabling business environments, passing some legislations to limit some tax and bottlenecks in importing components, and so on. The results have been quite positive so far, and there is a lot of potential. Volkswagen has, for example, already invested in Ghana, and other OEMs have shown potential interest as well. Ghana also benefits from a low labor cost compared to other African and manufacturing countries in automotive, and an increasingly skilled labor. So in terms of the potential for impact and what JED will do to support Ghana, the first is to become a fully integrated and competitive auto manufacturing hub within the region. Second will be to generate highly skilled jobs with potential spillover effects in other industries. And third will be to provide a well-developed industrial park for vehicle assemblers and component manufacturers to co-locate for efficient supply chains and logistic management. For investors, this means that within Ghana at the moment, in the automotive sector, there are some very interesting opportunities, for example, with existing investments that are ongoing that investors could join and where results could come out quite quickly. There is also a true potential in export across West Africa with the ECOWAS agreements, and potentially later across Sub-Saharan Africa with the African free trade agreements. There is also, at the social level, a high potential for job creation in Ghana. So as Palladium and BCG, to be able to reach that impact, to achieve our objectives, we've, for the first year at least, already developed 4 interventions within which we have also ideas of implementing activities. The first one that I mentioned before is the Investment Accelerator Mobilization. This will be led by BCG, and this basically, very shortly, includes building a pipeline and accelerating deals, working with MOTI and key stakeholders to resolve investor issues, and supporting new and existing investors to scale up. The second one, which is also really important, is the local content development. Here, the idea will be to work with existing anchor investors, such as MNCs, that have been able to invest in Ghana, and to work with them to define what are the key needs that they see as important for them to be able to further develop in country. So then we will identify some of the potential companies in country that have this potential to provide the components identified by the MNCs, by Volkswagen, for example, and work with them to support them in their development and potentially building an investment case to themselves attract more investors. The third one will be consumer market building. So this means that we need to work with the government of Ghana, with the Ministry of Trade, to try and find ways to build a consumer market. So this can be through certain incentives, or as well as policies to, for example, remove used car imports or grey car imports. We will also provide support to the Center of Excellence in Ghana. This is an institution that has been set up, and we will help this institution define its roadmap into how it could become a one-stop shop for any automotive investors in Ghana or players in Ghana that will need information, support, and so on. If we look at textile now. So textile in Ghana benefits from an access into a wide national and international market. Ghana has access to the ECOWAS region and through the AGOA agreements with the US to a multi-billion dollars, $60 billion market for garments. Ghana has also a strong, even though limited, manufacturing base. Ghanaian garments have a very strong reputation for quality and design in Sub-Saharan Africa and across the world. The government has also been able to pass some sector-specific initiatives with the support of development partners to really renew the interest in garments and the possibilities of the garment sector to develop in Ghana. We see textile and garments as being together because for Ghana to become a true manufacturing hub, it will need to develop a integrated integrated manufacturing supply chain, where garments and textile will be able to export to the US and European markets, as well as create thousands of jobs. Again, now you can see it, so that's great. For investors, this means that you have a real potential, again, for financial returns, for what we say time to impact, so like quick returns on your investments, because as I mentioned, the government with other partners has pre-COVID already done a lot to support manufacturers to develop. So these are ready to receive additional investments. There is, of course, a high labor potential, especially in textile, with the opportunities of inclusivity as both textile and garments in Sub-Saharan Africa or even globally employ a lot of women. In terms of proposed interventions, we've as well identified 4 types of support interventions for at least the first year that we will seek to implement in partnership with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. The first one is the investment Accelerator, as I mentioned. The second one will be the Textile Investment Readiness. So this means looking at the textile sector, conduct a strategic assessment to define the worthiness of the sector to investors. In recent years, like the garment sector has received a lot of attention, the textile sector maybe a bit less. So the idea will be to kind of join the two. We will, if we see like some potential for investors, we will then develop a business case and outline different strategic options for investors to be able to invest in the textile sector. The third one is the garment extension support. Like I said, a lot has been done in Ghana in the garment manufacturing sector. Our idea is to build on what has been done, avoid duplication, but really build on it so that we can support businesses that are ready for investments to either access these investors, to potentially access new markets by helping them in become ready for exports through, for example, meeting certain requirements, or potentially interesting, like high potential manufacturing plants, help them with their business management in terms of operational or financial activities. This is just a few examples of some of the ideas we are looking at. And finally, the fourth one will be to work alongside the Ministry of Trade and Industry and support them in developing existing or planned initiatives, such as the design and the development of a textile and garment industrial park. Finally, the last sector is pharmaceutical. As you can see, pharmaceutical in Ghana is also a very dynamic sector. It benefits from a privileged access to the ECOWAS region. It has a manufacturing base that is ready for investments and that is showing a growing investment pipeline. And with the activities of the government of Ghana, has now a conducive regulation to investments through, for example, a well-established regulatory authority and the provision of attractive incentives for investors, such as tax breaks. So JET will support Ghana to become a reputable manufacturing hub for pharmaceutical products and active pharmaceutical ingredients. We will also support in creating a resilient supply chain and allow for the creation of inclusive jobs. This, for investors, will be very interesting, notably with what we estimated as strong financial returns. Several quick wins as well with the support of existing investors with the government of Ghana that are ready to go in country or that are already in the country, as well as on the social aspect, a link with resilience to crisis. I think the COVID crisis has shown the need for Sub-Saharan Africa to be able to produce vaccines locally so that the countries are less dependent on India or China, for example. In terms of activities, how we will seek to achieve what we mentioned. Again, we have defined 4 areas of interventions from which several activities will be developed. As examples, we have the investment accelerator again. A second one will be to support the government of Ghana in the development of the enclave that it has established in Doha. This can be done through by supporting through technical assistance, customized incentives for new investments, or also support the proposal on investment opportunities and technology transfers through joint ventures. Again, the idea will be to work with the government, the different institutions, with the private sector locally, and with potential investors to see what can be done. What you have here are potential examples. There are many other opportunities. The third one will be related to vaccine technology transfer. We will seek to work with international businesses that are interested to establish a vaccine manufacturing plant in Ghana, see if it's feasible. If not, also work with identifying local SMEs that could be interesting partners to receive the technology transfer. And to do so, we will also build a business case, support them to build their capacities, and support in finding new investment opportunities through, for example, DFIs or other investors. And finally, the last intervention will be investment readiness. There, the idea is to really work with the pharmaceutical sector in Ghana to identify their needs, to see how we can help them, to support them in their development by, for example, connecting with potential buyers of their products, potential suppliers of their products, through matchmaking events, e-commerce support, and so on. We will also seek to facilitate technology transfer, exchange between local companies and foreign investors. Thank you.
I've pronounced that properly. He is the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and will be giving a keynote address to our audience today. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Baptiste, as Technical Manager of Ghana JET Program, thank you very much for your nice presentation. I can see that you are very keen into sell Ghana, and we welcome that. Mr. Robin George, Associate Director, Boston Consulting Group, Mr. Victor Nchi, Chief of Party, USAID, organizers of Ghana Diaspora Investment UK 2021, and AFSEC Investing in Africa Conference. I thank you all for being here. It is a distinct honor and privilege for me to be invited to participate in the Ghana Diaspora Investment Meeting UK 2021 and the AFSEC Investing in African Conference. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers for their admirable initiative to increase diaspora direct investment into Ghana by creating an enabling business environment to engage and mobilize diaspora entrepreneurs and investors in the United Kingdom to form meaningful partnerships with Ghanaian businesses. This is indeed a rare opportunity that has the potential of changing the course of business in Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana Diaspora Investment UK 2021 and AFSEC Investing in Africa Conference seeks to create an important forum for diaspora investors interested in long-term investment, enterprise development, and job creation in Ghana, as well as help Africa's continent achieve long-term economic growth and prosperity. With its focus on energy and power infrastructure projects, including transmission as well as roadways, rail distribution centers, and other areas in need of considerable investment, the forum promises to bring a new impetus to doing business in Ghana. The theme, increasing diaspora direct investment to Ghana, exploring opportunities in navigating hurdles, strikes me as the most relevant and current for enhancing the ongoing national effort to realize what we have in Ghana called Ghana Beyond Aid. Currently, that is the mantra in Ghana, and that is the President's agenda, #1, to make sure that Ghana moves beyond aid, and that Ghana tries to look inwards to see how best we'll be able to generate all that we need from within. At the heart of this effort is the mobilization of diaspora entrepreneurs and investors in the UK to form meaningful ties with Ghanaian enterprises. It is therefore refreshing to know that AFSEC seeks to bring African investors and investment together, as well as offer guidelines on how to raise money from African investors and promote businesses across the continent. Ghana stands out as one of the best investment destinations in sub-Saharan Africa due to its abundant resources, including and among others gold, cocoa, bauxite, iron ore, as well as oil and gas. The country has absolute security and political stability compared to its neighbors, as well as hosts the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat. Ghana investment climate is very friendly to international investment. Investment laws and the judicial system safeguard investors from expropriation and nationalization, as well as ensure that earnings can be transferred out of the country. Agribusiness, food processing, textiles, and apparel, which the last speaker has been talking about, downstream oil and gas, and mineral processing and mineral-related services are among the most promising sectors. The government of Ghana recognizes the need of creating an enabling environment to attract foreign direct investment and is working to revamp the regulatory structures, increase business ease, preserve budgetary and fiscal discipline, and promote greater openness and accountability and a robust judicial system. Ghana is unquestionably one of the shining lights thanks to its abundant natural resources, democratic political system, and solid and steadfast commitment to democracy, and has aided Ghana's recent increase in foreign direct investments. Ghana has drawn the interest of well-known multinational corporations, which have invested in many sectors of the economy. All these investors have come to Ghana because they realize we have a conducive social, political, and economic climate in which to invest, grow, and prosper. Our beloved country is devoted to strengthening its physical infrastructure based on significant natural resources. Efforts are being made to improve the investment climate by both domestic and foreign investors on a constant basis. These efforts have paid off handsomely, with Ghana being named the best place for doing business in the ECOWAS region in the World Bank Doing Business report, despite the fact that other countries did not exhibit positive growth levels due to the global economic downturn last year. Ghana recorded a provisional economic growth rate of 7.4%. Enthusiastically, as we are to receive such recognition, we are even happier to increase the investment and reinvestment in Ghana because of these ongoing reforms. And I'm hopeful that our engagement today will yield the needed results for the benefit of the diaspora investors. Ladies and gentlemen, to grow your business and to reach new heights, one often has to go into uncharted markets. That's the journey onto the unknown. Ghana has a solid tradition of investment in agriculture, and agro-processing. The financial services and telecommunications sectors are fast gaining ground, providing dynamic and innovative services to the most diverse customers in the world. Further opportunities exist in manufacturing, ICT, and tourism. Mineral deposits, including gold, diamond, bauxite, iron ore, abound. And with the discovery of oil, Ghana's famous black star has become more pronounced. Opportunities in emerging countries offer one of the highest returns in today's globalized marketplace. Beyond China, India, and Brazil, experts agree that the great success stories will come from Africa, which is the last frontier market. Ghana's economy is on the verge of becoming one of the success stories of the second decade of the 21st century, as record GDP growth in recent years is projected to stay above 6% in the next 5 years. Ghana is a country with huge economic potential and immense room for development. Besides the fact that it is blessed with numerous natural resources, a fast-developing economy, and growing middle class, it is also famous for the exceptional hospitality of its inhabitants. In regional comparison, Ghana is one of the most economically and politically stable countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, more and more public and private sector players from the diaspora are active in sub-Saharan Africa. Thus, sustainable development must be rooted in robust, inclusive, and resilient economic growth, job creation, and fighting against poverty. To run a healthy business, one needs a healthy society. In emerging markets, significant societal challenges persist and may hamper business development. Poverty, access to healthcare, and lack of education, access to clean water, unreliable infrastructure, and poor hygiene, sanitation, nutrition are amongst the issues facing businesses in today's society. Climate change, conflicts, natural disasters, and unforeseen events such as arbitrary nationalization of assets add to the challenges of doing business in emerging markets. At the same time, rising population, economic development, innovation, and good leadership result in a wealth of business potentials, and an increasing number of business leaders are searching for returns in investment in emerging markets. They are not only driven by economic opportunities in the emerging market, but also by business pressures due to the global financial and economic crisis. For the Ghana diasporan private sector to stay or become involved in the opportunities provided by the emerging economies, a cultural shift towards risk and resources is required. Perceptions of developing countries as high risk and poor resources have made place for new drivers of innovation and long-term consumer markets. Perception of fear of doing business in unknown terrain have to give way for prospects of working in partnership with government and civic society organizations that are eager to co-develop local economies and share the benefits of both business and society. Perceptions of being the first to enter an underdeveloped area have to make place for an open eye to build upon existing business and civic society development by providing complementary knowledge, competencies, and resources. In this regard, we must take pragmatic steps within the context of sustainable development objective to increase the volume of trade. To conclude, doing business in developing countries has both risks and rewards. Foreign investors can better grasp the environment of commercial operations by learning how to interact in diverse cultural situations and by the necessary socio-political advice. It is critical for in-house strategists to have a societal approach and collaborate with others. This will aid in risk mitigation and long-term prosperity for both the company and society. Foreign investors can be structured to produce profits and development while causing little or no harm to social or environmental landscapes. I would like to thank the group again for inviting me, and I encourage its members to work together to make Ghana diaspora investment work. Going forward, we in Ghana are keen to welcoming Ghanaian diasporan entrepreneurs on working visits to learn more about the country's abundant investment potential. It is my sincere desire that Ghanaian investors in diaspora will collaborate for our mutual gain. I thank you for your attention.
Located at the center of the world, Ghana is the best investment destination in West Africa and ranks as West Africa's first in the Ease of Doing Business Report 2019. It was projected as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, with a growth rate of 6.8% in 2019, and has been declared as Africa's new bright spot after being ranked 4th in the world and 1st in Africa in the 2019 Global Retail Development Index. As the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Ghana is creating the linkages that will make it the gateway to Africa, aided by dynamic policies, a stable political environment, and strong economic fundamentals. It is a land of opportunities, offering businesses across many sectors the potential to flourish. The country is open and accessible to investors and the private sector, providing a peaceful environment and upholding the rule of law. The government of Ghana is confident and optimistic about the positive results in its investment drive through the GIPC. Ghana has 8 million hectares of arable land, well irrigated by a wide network of water bodies, making it a region ready for large-scale mechanized agriculture. The government and major policy planners recognize that expanding the agro-industrial base is the best path to develop. Ghana has put in place the right legal and regulatory framework to increase foreign direct investment. The Industrial Zones Program allows manufacturers and agro-processors to take advantage of favorable tax and duty incentives to produce for exports from Ghana into the EU and US markets. A rich cultural history and wonderful natural beauty makes Ghana a great tourist destination. The Year of Return Tourism and Marketing campaign in 2019 positioned Ghana as a key travel and investment destination for African Americans and people of the global diaspora. The year recorded significant increases in the number of visitors to Ghana. Ghana's growing consumer market is providing compelling reasons for investing in the services sector. The retail sector has been valued at $24.4 billion. A growing middle class with increasing purchasing power is creating demand for a wider variety of sophisticated services in healthcare, finance, and education. In the region, Ghana has one of the highest mobile penetration rates at 140%, with data penetration at 89%. The country has a thriving startup scene, helped by access to broadband internet that runs on fiber optic and 4G networks. The fintech industry is worth over $50 billion. Ghana is an English-speaking nation located in the center of the geographical world, with flight times from Europe or America averaging about 8 hours. Transportation networks in and out of the country have received enhancements in order to aid the ease of doing business. It has a new international airport terminal and an expanded port infrastructure. Tema Port is one of the largest in Africa, with a capacity to handle 3.5 million TEUs. The expansion in the economy is largely due to oil and gas development. Other sustainable sources of power, like solar, wind, and thermal, will significantly increase the country's energy resources. We invite you to share in Ghana's optimism, be part of the incredible opportunities we offer, and be open to the idea to grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister, for your presentation this morning and for accepting to come. I will now call on the Boston Consulting Group, Robin George, to give his presentation. Thank you.
Does it work? Just move this. Morning, everyone. Honourable Minister, thank you for the opportunity to present. And ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to presenting the work that we've been doing with the government of Ghana and our partners here, Palladium, to kind of look at the sectors where there's real potential to accelerate investment. I won't cover much of the ground that my colleague Baptiste has covered, but I'll just give you a quick overview of which sectors and subsectors that we specifically see opportunities. In the second part of the presentation, I'm going to actually talk briefly about the investment accelerator or the industrialization accelerator that we work with the government of Ghana to establish, to attract investors into specific sectors. Okay. Yeah, you can do that actually. Yeah. right. I'd like to get your attention back again here. Take two. So, as I just briefly outlined, we're going to just explain how and where the opportunities, what kind of opportunities exist within the three priority sectors in Ghana, and how we're going to work with the government of Ghana to accelerate investment. So just kind of very briefly, Ghana has a very bold ambition. It wants to industrialize its economy, create large-scale jobs, and become a really big manufacturing power base within West Africa. As Baptiste outlined briefly, it has a lot of innate advantages, including a skilled labor force, access to a lot of minerals and other materials, and an effective kind of trade facilitation process that gives it access to some of the key export and export markets. Ghana's ambition also includes becoming a less aid-reliant economy, and so kind of generate its own wealth and create large-scale prosperity for its people. So again, very briefly, the Ghana JET program, which is an FCDO, Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office funded program, which is led by Palladium, and BCG works on the investment acceleration component. As Baptiste explained before, we've identified three priority sectors where we would actually work with the government to drive investment, and they are automotive, pharma, textiles, and garments. And these sectors have been identified because there are clear, tangible opportunities to promote investment here. Again, just a quick summary of where the opportunity exists within automotive. Now, automotive sector, there has been a lot of excitement in Ghana with the investments from firms like Volkswagen and Toyota in setting up plants to manufacture, assemble from semi-knockdown kits. So the SKD assembly is a big part of what Ghana is doing at the moment. And within government, there is a real concerted effort to make sure this actually is just a start, and further investment can actually be rushed into the sector to create a bigger automotive ecosystem. Now, automotive sector, it's a long-term play. If you look at countries like Turkey or countries like India, it's been like a 20, 30-year journey before they actually became a full, large-scale integrated car manufacturer. However, there are, to get there, you do need to go through various steps. So for Ghana, the clear opportunity is in assembly as a start. So to go from SKDs to kind of complete knockdown kits, and also kind of replace the the demand that is currently met through second-hand car demand. Now, to do that, obviously, you need a range of kind of measures. Firstly, you need to actually make it more difficult to import really old cars that flood the market. But secondly, there's a good reason why people actually buy these cars. They are cheaper and more available. So one has to actually do a lot of work in automotive finance as well to actually kind of genuinely unlock the potential for locally manufactured cars replacing kind of imported cars. So assembly is a big play. The next big play would be kind of the components and initially the kind of the aftermarket sales for parts that are quickly worn off, for example, tires, wipers, brake pads, etc. as a start, and then build on that to actually get into kind of more complex plays. The investment required isn't sizable given the opportunity, and in addition to actually kind of being able to meet local demand, regional demand, it would also create it would also create a lot of jobs. So the advantages that Ghana has beyond labor, it has raw materials, it has the free trade agreements to actually kind of make things to keep things moving forward. And more importantly, within the automotive sector, the government of Ghana has a very strong investor-centric approach. Moving on to to the pharma sector, again, there's both a local as well as a regional opportunity here in terms of actually the sizable opportunity. I think COVID-19 has actually helped many countries around the world to realize the importance of having a strong domestic pharmaceutical sector. Now, Ghana is not starting from scratch. It has some strong plants in existence, which are already making a range of products. So there is a real opportunity here to actually scale up these plants, and expand production into new areas. As part of the program, we've actually engaged with a lot of investors, and there's some really interesting observations about why Ghana might actually have some advantages here. Yet, as is evident, pharma is a very, very complex sector. It is dominated by many of the OECD countries, as well as countries like China and India. So to actually, the real opportunities, to actually, particularly to get to fill and finish kind of products, there needs to be both policy as well as kind of investor-centric approach to attract investment. Again, we've done an estimate of the kind of opportunities that, the scale of investment that is required to actually get both brownfield and kind of greenfield investment. One of the advantages of the pharma sector beyond, shall we say, job creation, is that it's actually a complex sector. When we talk about economic transformation of a country, entering into a sector like pharma actually leads to kind of the complex ecosystem of, say, universities and research institutions, as well as skilled labor, all collaborating with the industry to create the kind of ecosystem that ultimately will have kind of spillover benefits for other sectors as well. So while pharma is a long-term play, there are some clear short-term opportunities that Ghana can capitalize on. Within the textile sector as well, it's a large market, and from an export point of view, there are some clear advantages given the preferential access to both the US and the European market. And so again, labor is a big advantage, but there are also other advantages like the fact that Ghana has a port that works a lot more effectively than, say, other parts of Africa. It has a large labor force. And it also technically has access, it is within a region where there is really high quality cotton. And one of the trends that's happening across the sector is many garment manufacturers are actually keen to diversify from their over-dependence on China, and there are some clear reasons why many countries want to get out of China at this point, particularly given some of the U.S. sanctions on Chinese cotton. So there are many garment manufacturers that are actually looking at other locations, and Ghana does feature in the plans of some of the biggest brands. And the next step, obviously, is to clearly figure out what you need to do to actually get in here as well. Here, the short to medium term opportunity is in garments. Textiles is a longer term play, and it requires much higher scale investment. But again, like we discussed, in the pharma sector, you need to look at these as various steps of a ladder. And so entering the garment sector is often, the really first step before actually you can think of a larger integrated garment and textile sector. The job creation opportunities, particularly at the lower end, in a growing country like Ghana, are very, very clear in the garment sector as well. What are the investors saying? So I've just given you a quick snapshot of some of the perspectives that we've heard from local, regional, as well as international investors. We've had an opportunity to engage with some of the biggest names in the sector, in auto, in pharma, as well as in garments and textiles. There is a lot of optimism. There is a sense, as the minister outlined, there's a clear sense that from a policy perspective, this is a government actually that wants to actually attract investment. There's also the sense that we talked about political stability, and I think there's always the danger of a single story when it comes to talking about investing in Africa. But we're also seeing that they are actually able to kind of say, well, there is political stability here, there is democracy. So if you're looking at garment, the garment sector, especially given the pressures in recent years, many manufacturers that we talk to want a country where trade unions operate, labor standards are maintained, minimum wages are honored. So there is a clear, there are good reasons why people would want to invest in Ghana. So how do we make this happen? So one of the approaches that we've pioneered in several countries with some effect is what we call an investment or an industrialization accelerator. So the investment accelerator, is simply a kind of a purposed, a special purpose or a tactical task force. It's not like a permanent structure. It basically identifies really high impact opportunities and figures out how to actually take it from identification to conclusion of investment. Now, why is this necessary? Firstly, it's quite important to align what government investment priorities are. What are the sectors that the government really wants investment, and what are some of the social objectives in terms of kind of job creation, skill development, etc. Often these efforts are kind of fragmented, across ministries, across different agencies, and it's important to actually bring it together so that the investors have kind of a smoother access to the decision-making process. It's also very difficult for governments to actually kind of maneuver through the complex investor landscape. So what is important is actually to kind of really set up a dedicated process that allows governments to go from identifying opportunities to actually materializing, making the investment materialize. So what we see an industrialization accelerator do is actually creating a task force that actually brings key decision makers together to enable rapid decision making so that efforts are not actually siloed. Now, what is important to understand is that an investment accelerator, which we'll be working with MOTI to implement, is not actually meant to replace existing government units. It's not an additional layer of bureaucracy. It's not a permanent body. It is purely an execution and monitoring support for the government. It will actually work with existing government civil servants. Our role will be actually more of coaching and supporting and making sure that the processes are right to actually make investment materialize. So it is actually working in agile 3-week sprints of kind of clearly identifying what each member of this accelerator unit does and making sure they're taken to conclusion. It's in providing support to government to ensure that they can actually engage investors and the people within mid-level of government have the right toolkits and the right skills to have those conversations with the investors and address specific concerns they have. The accelerator will also be kind of working towards tangible impact in terms of investment realized, jobs created, and so they'll be like clearly measurable indicators. And we've seen this work, not just in other African countries, but we are currently doing this in a few East Asian countries as well. It's also about ultimately making sure that the government can actually do this on its own and making sure that we transfer capabilities. So, in conclusion, with the JET program, we are here as partners to support the government of Ghana. We want to get that message that the Honourable Minister said, that Ghana is really open for business, and we'll be a partner working alongside the government to make that a reality. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Robin. That was really insightful. Next, we're going to have a presentation from the Chief of Party of USAID in Ghana. He's going to be explaining a little bit about the enabling environment for agri-processing and agriculture investments. So he's actually recorded this, so he's going to be up on the screen here. Thank you.
I would like to say a big thank you to the Foreign Affairs for giving us an update on investment environment in Ghana. We are very grateful, sir. It gives me great pleasure to make a presentation topic, creating an enabling environment for agricultural investments in Ghana. At this, congratulations to organizers of this event, as well as my colleagues from the Palladium Group who are implementing the JET project in Ghana and also sponsoring this very particular session. I would like to say Aiko, as we say in Ghana. In the growing Africa, unlocking the potential of agri reports, the World Bank projects that Africa's farmers and agribusinesses could create $1 trillion food market by 2030 if they can expand their access to capital, electric power, better technology, and irrigated land to grow high-value nutritious foods. The question is, what Ghana as a country need to take advantage of these upside potential and be a part of the opportunities for transformational structural change in the sector? And in the answer to this question, among others, is anchored in the overarching economic transformation development strategy of inclusiveness. The importance of the agriculture sector to Ghana's future overstated. Three out of every 5 Ghanaians work in agriculture and its respective value chains. There are over 6 million women in the sector, as well as hundreds of thousands of new workers, including many youth, who enter the labor force of these value chains each year. Overall, the sector generates over $13 billion annually for the national economy. As Ghana looks to graduate from a development assistance recipient towards self-reliance, building on this foundation will be essential to sustainable, inclusive long-term growth and prosperity. The Ghana government's Planting for Food and Jobs policy is a necessary step of modernizing agriculture and improve production efficiency by investing in the food, agriculture, and agribusiness value chains, including storage, transportation, processing, packaging, and marketing, which will help improve incomes and create new businesses and job opportunities in the sector. Planting for Food and Jobs is therefore a critical policy intervention to ultimately transform Ghana's agriculture that will eventually spur the industrialization of the economy to create jobs and boost incomes. This policy is providing support to the one district, one factory policy, as most of these factories depend on these primary agricultural produce as raw materials for processing. These activities are seeking to get people out of poverty. The continuous public and private sectors investments in the agriculture sector would facilitate attaining optimal potential for development. Thus, with the right level of support, Ghana can unlock substantial value in farming through storage, transportation, agro-processing, branding and marketing, and distribution of food and commercial crops, as well as meat products, along with other agribusiness products and services like agrochemicals, farm tools and machinery, farm management software, and seed production, among many people in the sector will struggle to access the financing and investment they need to grow their businesses, feed their families, and improve their livelihoods. Many financial institutions interested in serving the sector, but are reluctant to unsure about taking on the added cost of seeking out promising opportunities and training staff in the nuances of the sector and developing loan products that align with agribusinesses' needs. The resulting financing gaps poses a central challenge to farmers and businesses as they strive to build their agribusinesses and meet the growing demand for agricultural goods and services, both here and abroad. The improvements in productivity, trade flows, nutrition, food security, women and youth empowerment, and resilience that the global food security strategy seeks to achieve in Ghana all hinge on the wide availability of finance throughout the agriculture sector. Unlocking finance in Ghana's agricultural value chains is therefore critical to ensuring food security, sustainable and inclusive economic growth. To achieve this objective, the U.S. government, through USAID and the Presidential Feed the Future initiative, awarded the Feed the Future Ghana Mobilizing Finance in Agriculture (MFA) project to the Palladium Group in October 2020. The goal of the 4-year project is to increase the commercial financing available for agriculture to facilitate capital investment and promote trade. The Feed the Future Ghana Mobilizing Finance in Agriculture project will leverage performance-based incentives to unlock over $260 million in investment in target agricultural value chains in Ghana, including maize, soy, groundnuts, cowpea, mango, cashew, shea, and other high-value export crops. The MFA activity recognizes that improved access to finance and investment is essential for the overall market systems to function and grow. The improved access to finance that MFA is providing will support the overall system while helping individuals build a better life for themselves and their communities. The Mobilizing Finance in Agriculture activity would also maximize sustainability so that impact and benefits to agricultural investment will continue to grow and scale. Other USAID activities within the Global Food Security Strategy and the JET project would benefit from the long-term improvements in the financial system that the MFA activity will foster. Finance. If you need an investment, expand your production activity, mechanize your operations, or otherwise grow your business, we can help you. Mobilizing Finance in Agriculture activity, building a network of transaction advisors and financial institutions that cater to varied financing needs and are bringing access to new sources of capital and new financing models. For business advisory service providers interested in expanding their business or getting into deal facilitation for the agribusiness sector, Mobilizing Finance in Agriculture is building a sustainable market for transaction advisory service providers and will help you build relationships with banks and investors, help you develop new client lines, and share profiles of enterprises seeking finance. We are also using a portion of our resources as strategic incentives to engage business advice service providers to assist enterprises in accessing transaction facilitation services. Therefore, for financial institutions interested in expanding your business or your agricultural lending portfolio, Mobilizing Finance in Agriculture activity will be working with you to reduce transaction costs, improve risk mitigation, build staff capacity, incentivize expansion in agricultural lending. As we work to stimulate the supply of finance for agriculture, we will be providing financial institutions within our network with results-based incentive for meeting lending targets and reaching new clients. The opportunity for potential strategic sector partners, including corporate institutions, anchor buyers, digital platforms, and financial institutions that have ideas or plans for inclusive business growth that require a financing solution. If you have an innovative new business models or growth plan that, with the right financial institution, intermediary or technical partners, could unlock financing for small borrowers at scale, we want to hear from you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to think about the opportunities that exist for investors along the entire value chain of the sector as the Ghana government and the investment committee augment activities to attract foreign direct investment, to generate jobs, to enhance livelihoods. Combined with the strong legal and regulatory framework which protects your investment, the incentives and abundance of talent in the sector, and the de-risking of the sector in order to attract finance, there can never be a better time for farmers, agro-processors, technological, distribution, and post-production service providers to invest in the sector. I take this opportunity to thank AFS, IC, and the Palladium Group, implementers of the JET projects and Mobilizing Finance in agricultural activity, and to encourage investors of our continued commitment to working with all to ensure a thriving sector that yields positive returns for all. Thank you for your attention. May God bless you and our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Victor Entry. I'm the Chief of Party on the Feed the Future Ghana Mobilizing Finance and Agriculture activity. Thank you very much.